My name is John Ross with Finance on a Budget. In this video, I want to talk to you about retirement. I know, it is so far away you aren't even seriously thinking about it. But here I am, 48 years old, and I only have what I started working on 2 years ago. I am so screwed. But I'm doing my best to teach my son what not to do, and I want to teach you too. I'm going to be talking about your retirement. This includes the retirement accounts IRA and Roth IRA, their main differences, and the best strategies that you can use to make the most of them both. Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. What is a traditional IRA? For a traditional individual retirement account, IRA, you get tax-deferred growth potential. This means that the money goes from your gross paycheck directly into an IRA before any taxes are taken out. This is very similar to a 401k, where your employer also sends the money directly into your account. While there are several differences between an IRA and a 401k, the big one in this case is that your 401k is set up by your employer. An IRA is set up by you separately, hence the word individual. You won't need to pay any taxes on the investment earnings until you withdraw your money from your account early. Don't do that. Or you can distribute the money when you reach retirement age, 59 and a half. Because taxes are deferred, you might just have a greater accumulation of wealth. In concept, if you're putting in an extra $150 a week before taxes, i.e. you'll barely miss it, at age 25 through 67, on retirement, you will have accumulated an extra $317,000. Remember, most of that money comes from taxes that were going to be taken away from you anyway. You can easily double that with employer matching a 401k, and then get a whopping $634,000 for basically the amount of change that you lost in your couch every month. This is an important concept because when I was 25 years old, I remember clear as day a 401k meeting with the company I was with. They had a 401k representative there. He said if you put away $1 in 1922, you would have over $1 million by now. And I want to make 2 points very clear. Number one, it would actually be $4,700 that you would have, so he just straight up lied to us. Number two, I want to tell you the same thing I told him. If you actually had $100 in 1922, you were extremely wealthy. By 1930, you would have lost all of it. And I literally got up and walked right out of the room. Yes, I was right, and he made a piss-poor argument. When I left the company, I cashed out my 401k, the entire $600. I took that money and I bought a password-locked Apple iMac from a pawn shop. I hacked it and sold it on eBay for $1,200. I doubled my money in 2 weeks. That is what I thought of the stock market. And again, I wasn't completely wrong. The problem is that it wasn't sustainable. I used that original money to double, triple, and quadruple the value of my 401k until I made a bad investment, and I barely broke even. After that, Amazon and eBay both screwed me over. 2 videos, links down below. I went from crushing it to 3-month stalemate with Amazon, and I never really recovered. If I kept it in an IRA all of these years, yes, it would be worth the same $2,000 as it was back then. However, I would actually have it now and maybe even have grown it. But in the real world, I haven't seen any of that money in the past 20 years. Okay, anyway, clear your mind back to the facts. The Setting Every Community Up for Retirement Enhancement Act, SECURE Act in 2020, I swear they spend more time naming these stupid things, has declared that there is no maximum age restriction for anyone to make a traditional IRA contribution. Yearly limits are $6,000, $7,000 for 50 and over. Tax deductibility will be based on the income limits or employer plans. Anyone with earned income can contribute. Small side note, a simplified employee pension IRA, or SEP IRA, is a traditional type of IRA that lets self-employed people and small business owners save up to $57,000 in 2020, $56,000 in 2019, towards retirement. But contribution rules means that these plans tend to be best for companies with fewer or no employees. What is a Roth IRA? Roth IRAs are mostly similar. However, it basically means that you can have tax-free growth potential. You can withdraw your direct contributions at any time without taxes or penalties. However, you must be at least 59 and a half and wait 5 years after your first contribution to withdraw any profits tax-free as well. If you make withdrawals before you were 59 and a half, you might have to pay taxes on your earnings, plus an additional 10% tax. To be clear, this is only on the earnings, not the original contributions. After 5 years of your first contribution, up to $10,000 of earnings can be withdrawn penalty-free to cover your first-time homebuyer expense. Qualified education and hardship withdrawals may also be available without penalty before the age limit and 5-year waiting period. If you file taxes as a single person, your modified adjusted gross income, MAGI, must be under $139,000 for the tax year 2020 to contribute to an IRA. And if you're married and file jointly, your MAGI must be under $206,000 for the tax year 2020. I'm about $100,000 short of that number, and it would be really awesome if you click that like, subscribe, and notification bell. If you do that for every video, maybe I'll have a fighting chance. What do you say? Briefly, a child's IRA. Neither an IRA or Roth IRA have age limits on contributions. However, if your children are very young, you cannot start one for them. Your child, regardless of age, can contribute to an IRA provided they have earned income, defined by the IRS as all taxable income and wages that you get from working, for someone who pays you or from a business that you own. Basically, they need to receive their first W-2 or be the owner of their own business in order to qualify. In concept, if it's a family business, as long as they pay taxes, they can be of any age. However, if they are 15 and get a legal job, they do exist, then you can open up an IRA or Roth IRA for them. As the parent, you would then be the legal guardian of the investments. I will have a video at some point that covers this topic in detail. When available, I'll have a link in the description below. What are the best strategies to use? You first have to check for your IRA eligibility because your income will determine which one you can actually contribute to. Ideally, the Roth IRA works for most savers because early withdrawal rules are very flexible. However, for full tax-free potential, when combined with a house that you own, then technically a traditional IRA is best. Of course, in any situation, you really shouldn't be withdrawing the money that you put into your retirement early. But if you really need to, the Roth lets you do this at any time without early withdrawal penalties and income taxes. But quite honestly, you're better off renting for another year or two with the goal of homeownership than you are with draining your IRA of $10,000 or Roth IRA of your contributions. Please remember, saving for retirement is retirement. If you want to save for a house, then save for the house. If you dabble in the stock market, then you can easily put the funds into an ETF or REIT and collect the dividends for the next few years. Links below. That's fine, but don't put them into a Roth IRA with the expectation of taking it out in the next few years. That just doesn't make any sense. Also, if you want to dip into a traditional IRA before you're retired, the IRS gives you a 10% early withdrawal penalty plus taxes at your current income rate for the amount withdrawn. We did this to save our house, and it cost us an extra $50 a month over the next 3 years to pay back taxes and penalties. My wife gave up her 401k with 100% matching, while we saved our house that day by negotiating a $1,250 a month payment. I kid you not, 2 weeks later, I received a letter saying that they changed their mind and wanted $1,750 a month payment. We gave up everything, and then the bank took every penny, and then a lot more, just because they could. Don't give them anything. Let them take the house. You can always rent or buy a new one. Your retirement savings will never come back the way that it once was. Banks are evil. Don't give them your money. For a Roth IRA, you can leave your savings in the account and allow it to grow tax-free, resulting in even more after-tax money. And because with the Roth, your tax break won't arrive until you're retired, there won't be any nasty temptations to spend the money before it arrives. On the other hand, a traditional IRA delivers your tax benefits when you file, offsetting your income, i.e. less taxes owed. And lastly, the Roth can help you diversify your tax in conjunction with your 401k so that you can have more options to manage your tax burdens in retirement. So how do you decide between a traditional and a Roth IRA? This is the main point to consider. Is the rate of your distributions that you need to pay on your traditional IRA higher or lower than the tax rate that you pay today on your Roth IRA contributions? Consider that 40 years ago, lunch cost only $3. Fast forward, now lunch costs $10. So loosely speaking, you will need a 4.24% increase per year to keep up with inflation. This is important to know because if you watched my stock REIT video until the end, you will find that most offered under 4% returns. Only a single offering kept your dividends over the increase of inflation. This and similar stocks are the ones that you want to own long term. Don't forget, you can actually move your traditional IRA to a Roth IRA, paying the taxes sooner, then enjoying the tax-free benefits later. This can help you diversify the tax in your investments between your traditional and Roth IRA accounts so that you can have a better grasp of your money in retirement. Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Thanks for watching.